What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another watch list video. Not a whole lot going on in your futures in the after hours. Your Kospi is getting smacked though pretty hard. The NQ is like slowly pulling. You had the inside day today, so your ES is slowly pulling, but that Kospi is not looking too hot. You're back below the 50. You came into the 50 at the open and you're rejecting it and you're rolling over. Of course, that is going to be on the back of your Samsung, right? Losing the or trying to lose the 50 here, right? This thing's gapping down and down about 6%, as well as your SK Hynix comes into the 10 and 20, rejects it, and it's rolling over right now in the after or the Korean market session, right? Our after hours futures market. I still think that the market is extremely risk off for me right now. I'm not able to gain any traction. In fact, I tried one trade today. You may have saw me post about it, but it was just NBIS, right, as an undercut and rally of Thursday's lows. That didn't, I mean, it started to work. I won't lie. Like, you had the undercut and then you had the rally and it started to act awesome. But to see this name completely come back all the way back to my average just lets me know I don't need to sit in it any longer. So I booked like a 0.2% win, didn't want it to flip red, so I just let it go, maybe with a little over an hour left to go in the day, and I didn't care about it because obviously I don't want my name to act that way. But yeah, so that's all I tried today. But I did buy LLY, Eli Lilly. Nice flag building on this one. I think this is one of my favorite setups out of all the names. In fact, there's barely any setups, and this is pretty much the only one. But LLY, I think this name looks great. It's got the group, really nice group. If you wanted to play this, you got LLYX, right? It moves about almost 6% per day. But this setup looks great. A nice flag building, and you get an inside day to day, 3 days tight here. It's building a nice little range, push above today's highs, and maybe I could even add to this one. But it looks fine, right? This name looks great. I just don't know. I feel bad about this market, right? There's not setups. I'm barely seeing any setups. No traction on recent trades. Really the only thing that worked for me, like I said, is LOY. You got your Kospi gapping down after hours. The memory names look horrible. Your EWY does not look good, right? If you look at MU, right, you lose the 20-day on Wednesday. You follow through to the downside on Thursday, and then just an inside day with a shaved bottom today. Like these things are just breaking down and they just don't look good. So maybe pulling into the 50-day for Micron, SanDisk, maybe into the 50-day. Just continue to watch and monitor these names. That's definitely what I'll be looking for. But to me, they just look like they want to continue breaking down. They do not look very good, right? I will say Breath definitely improved today in a small way, right? You had 200 stocks up, 82 down, right? Less down for sure. Even if you look at Pradeep's, right, 200 up, 155 down. So it definitely looks a little bit better compared to yesterday and the previous days. And I'm going to try to keep this video super short because there's not a whole lot for me to talk about, right? You had a gap up across the board on a lot of names, but a lot of names faded that move, right? You had your SMH, right, gapping up and then rejecting, if my moving average was low, rejecting the 10 and 20 day, not the best look at all. Then you get an inside day, it looks like it wants to continue lower. We'll see how it acts when it actually gets to the 50 day or this pivot from May slash just this whole area of support down here, even if it wants to go a little bit lower. Definitely will be coming into a support around that area, so I will watch that. I don't want to short this thing as it's already breaking down all the way over here, but I do see more short setups right now than I do see long setups, right? And I think the charts look awesome if you press Alt and invert your chart. There's awesome inside days and names that have been trending to the downside. So if you flip your charts, the charts look awesome. But for real, there's been a lot of bad moves the last few days, and you're just getting like an inside bar on like so many names with the top wick. So just to me, looks like a lot of them want to continue lower. But I can also flip my bias if that wants to change in the next few days. Like if names get a huge washout tomorrow or in the next day after that, and you get a big wick and maybe the market bottoms for a little bit, like I will change as long as I'm seeing stuff setting up. I'm gaining traction on my first trade, right? And then I gain traction on another trade on another setup. I will definitely, my opinion will change. The way I feel about things will change. But for right now, I'm just not seeing that yet. So maybe we could get a breakdown in tomorrow or the next day, and then maybe a big shakeout in some stocks. Like, I mean, if you look at AMD, like it's just wedging up here. It did have some nice relative strength today, but this action's so wide and loose. Like I can't throw this on my list because it's just unbuyable. And even some names I already have on my list, like A-Lab, like you get an inside day today, it's under a pivot. This is like just barely any consolidation here, so probably will not be taking this. I'd rather just do nothing tomorrow and just monitor stuff. Like if this works, just monitor. I don't need to be trading this, but it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. Amazon is also on my list here. The mags has acted awesome, right? If you throw up the max ETF, right, double inside day pretty much. You're back above the 200. You're slowly building out above the 200. Looks good. Tesla had this action absolutely sucks. There's no way I'd be trading this in any way. There's no setup here, but it was nice to see Tesla up so much today after being down so much on Thursday. But either way, you know, Tesla, some nice relative strength today. The mags looks fine. Nvidia though, not my favorite. I mean, you're building a range. To me, this thing's been in a downtrend. And it just looks like the second bear flag, right? Your first bear flag, and then here's your second one. To me, it looks like it might want to lose the 200 day. I don't know, though. Not my favorite. But if this thing wants to gap up or whatever, or just reverse tomorrow, that would be super interesting. Google, I also have my list. It had a nice day today. It maybe could build out. It's coming into the 50, which is still rising. So maybe a rejection here. Just get tight for a few days, and you could have yourself some sort of setup, right? It's building the right side of that V. So just maybe some tightness along here would be interesting. Microsoft, barely anything. I talked about Google. I talked about Tesla. Amazon I talked about, and I'm not going to really go over the rest. Your DRAM, like I talked about some memory names, you know, you get a big gap up in the DRAM and it does absolutely nothing but reject. Your Micron don't look good. SanDisk, STX, you come into the 50, you put an inside day, maybe not the worst look, but still just not going to be buying this alongside. WDC, same thing, but just not my favorite inside days, right? There's just barely any consolidation. So the Magnificent Seven though, showing nice relative strength, right? Another relative strength group is your cybersecurity, right? Bug, hack, cyber, they look awesome, right? FTNT, new 52-week high, right? RBRK, awesome. Okta, awesome. CrowdStrike, another one that I own, looks so good, but you can't be buying these things up here. They've already made their move, right? Palo Alto, they've already made their move. The tight setups were weeks ago, and these things are just showing relative strength now, and there's no setups on these. You cannot be chasing these names 10 ATRs from their 50 SMA. That's not what I'll be doing, right? IGV software names had a nice relative strength day. IGV was up, you know, a little over 1.25% today, right? Some relative strength in the software. TENB, QLYS was okay. I mean, like, you know, as far as relative strength looks awesome. There's no setup, right? These names were tight and they absolutely exploded above their 200. So definitely nice to notice that. VRNS, ZETA, right? Zeta, super nice day today. Okta, I talked about. IoT, another big day today. Frog, still trending and looks awesome. NAVN, still trending and looks awesome. Affirm, right? Another one, just continue higher in your software group. TTWO. Yeah, these are awesome, right? They're just trending. They look great, but they're not buyable. So just continue to monitor them maybe for a setup. XLF, though, was a beast day, right? You got Morgan Stanley, I think, acted awesome. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, inside day today. Doesn't look too bad. Definitely maybe want to keep an eye on these if you want. You had some news in Wolf today, and they just used that to sell the shit out of this thing. It rejected the 50-day in the ugliest way. Like I talked about, I did buy NBIS this morning at the prior day low as an undercut and rally, and it didn't work. But I mean, these names just, if I bring up Cores, not the best look. Hut, not my favorite look. Like, they just need so much work, and to me they look like they just maybe want to continue breaking down and go lower. But Wolf got clobbered on that news that was supposedly supposed to be good, so you're seeing good news get sold off. The charts are obviously the most important, but I'm going to go through my list here now. I don't want to make this video too long. AGL, it's in the right group. Healthcare, you're trying to build a high tight flag here, coming off of a power earnings gap, right? Your first like nice consolidation. Didn't really like the action today, but you're sitting up to 20 day. Maybe an inside day tomorrow would be super interesting. Hold green here would be super cool. It's in the right group, so it's something I'll keep an eye on. It's giving some nice consolidation here, so that's what interests me the most. A-Lab I talked about. I'm just going to monitor it. Don't really see anything viable. Amazon, another one where it's like, I'm just going to monitor it. I will watch today's highs, see if it can really just push out over that. But don't feel too much about that. BE, this volatile range has sucked, but you did get an inside day today. You did show relative strength. It's right under the base. Is it going to break out of this base, which I don't think I'll be buying breakouts, or is this thing going to break down? This is going to be a short setup. I've tried to short this thing like 2 days in a row, like as a breach and failure of this pivot, and it's worked, and then, you know, it's not worked, and or it stopped me out and then rolled over. So I'm just not getting a whole lot really on BE. So I just threw it on the list because Maybe it's trying to build a higher low here. And I also have FCell on the list. You had a 2-day LV setup yesterday, and then an inside day today, which actually doesn't look too bad. But nice inside day today. It's in that same kind of group. Maybe this and nice relative strength. I mean, the overall structure of this chart has shown super nice relative strength. So maybe continue to do that. I would watch this name over today's highs would be interesting, but I mean, you don't have too much consolidation, right? It just came out of a big move, and this is kind of like that first pullback. So maybe it can continue higher, but not really a setup I'm obsessing about, and not really a tight consolidation. CGNX, you're right under the prior left side peak. 4 days tight, inside day to day. A little interesting. Maybe we can push out above today's highs would be a little bit interesting to me. Yeah, I don't think this name looks horrible. And not a bad setup developing. DDOG, right? I talked about this group. Looks awesome as far as the group. Right? This name's been holding up really well, but you just have like no real consolidation or setup here. So I'll just watch this name for a pullback. You got a support gap right here. You got a pivot. Whatever this name was, you got the 20-day. But I need real setups here. I need real setups. But you know, it's been holding up really nice, showing relative strength. It's in a good group. Dell. This name actually building it, not a bad range here, right? You're trying to build higher lows. You had a decent day today, maybe an inside day tomorrow, and I think this name could possibly, you know, I look at a weekly chart, looks super nice. You got an inside week so far. Just maybe chopping around over here and providing a super tight setup here would be awesome. So definitely will be something I'm going to continue to keep an eye on. It's one of my favorite prior leaders. That's still holding up well, but I mean, we've seen what's happened to the other ones, so I wouldn't be surprised if this name just completely breaks down. Google, I talked about, not too much there, but you know, nice relative strength group. LLY, one of my favorites. I think this chart looks awesome. LUV, right? You got the Jets ETF looks fine, right? No setup for me really on this one. I mean, you did get an inside day. It's been strong. It's been trending. DAL, same thing, right? Been trending. UAL, same thing, been trending. Love. Nice flag here, right? It almost reminds you of LLY, right? Where you just kind of make a big move up, you're consolidating a nice flag, and you get an inside day today. We'll watch this one over the priority high. This thing moves 3.5% per day, right? Like my list sucks. I got AGL on here. Not to say LLY sucks, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. You know, I got Love on here. TNGX, right? A biotech name. You get a gap up. I don't know what the catalyst was here, if there even was one, but consolidating after the gap up inside day to day, and it's building some sort of a little base above its head. So maybe interesting above the prior day high, but it's another name where it's like I don't feel the need to trade any of this stuff, and I probably won't be. So sitting on my hands is definitely what I'll be doing, right? So TNGX, like I said, inside day to day off the 20, trying to build a higher low. Looks like a possible higher low setup. I'll just watch the push above the prior day high. Love, same thing, just a flag is LOY. LOY did buy this one today as a reclaim of VWAP. And if I can even throw that up on my chart here. This bar right here is where I started to get positioned. I think I got like right here is pretty much my average. So super tight stop, and I was able to hold just a little bit of cushion into the close, and I think the chart looks awesome. The group looks good. Net. You bounce off the 50, you're starting to get a little tight in here and building some sort of a range, right? You can look at this anyway, but I mean, it's in the right group. And I think, I'm pretty sure this is cybersecurity. So just continue to monitor this one. It is in a nice little base. So not a bad looking setup. I think inside day tomorrow will be interesting. And that's pretty much everything on my list. I have some back burners like SHLS, semiconductor name. You know, the weekly doesn't look too bad. You're kind of in a base still. And you've been consolidating a nice range in inside day today, but I mean, it's not super liquid. The semis have gotten hit, even though they were decent today, right? With AMD, and a few others. ARM, maybe a flush into the 50-day and I'll watch, right? As an undercut and rally. But I'm not going to talk about that too much, right? Intel, same thing. A flush down to the 50-day into the support gap, maybe I'll watch. But to me, these ones look like they want lower tomorrow, so I don't want to fight with that. And I don't want to jump in front of a falling knife. Marvell, same thing. Looks like it wants lower, but maybe to continue to watch as a undercut and rally setup. Not too much there. AMD, like I talked about, super choppy, but continue building a range maybe, and maybe a big shakeout here to complete like the bottom part of the space. I don't know. It's just something I'm just going to watch. CIEN as a short setup. Right, you got GLW with a failed breakout, AAOI in a downtrend off the highs. Looks like a stage 4, maybe if it can lose a 200-day. But VIAV, you know, rolling over after consolidating. COHR rolling over after consolidating. So this looks like maybe a stage 3 top. Who knows? But that's pretty much everything I'm watching. There's really not a whole lot. I'm sorry I don't have a whole lot for you guys, but I appreciate everyone that watches these, and I will catch you guys in the next one. This market will get better, but you just got to be patient. You just got to be able to sit on your hands and be okay with doing absolutely nothing, right? So yeah, I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.